Good afternoon, everyone. On this Indian Arthroscopy Society channel, I'm going to present my talk about arthroscopic remplissage technique, tips and tricks. So what is remplissage? Remplissage is a French word. The literal meaning is filling in. Insetting of infraspinatus tendon and capsule into the Hill sacks, which was described by Eugene Wolf as an arthroscopic technique in 2007. So this is an animation showing what is engaging Hill sacks. So Burkhardt described a concept that with abduction external rotation, unstable shoulder with Hill sacks will have Hill sacks engaging onto the anterior margin of glenoid like this. So when you do abduction and external rotation, Hill sacks goes and gets engaged onto the anterior part of the glenoid. So now we all know the glenoid on-track and off-track concept described by Giovanni. So it is very important to understand that the Hill sacks interval and the glenoid track has a very important relationship. As we all know, the glenoid track is about 83% of the glenoid anteroposterior diameter. So if Hill sacks interval is less than the glenoid track, then it is a on-track glenoid, on-track Hill sacks lesion. If the medial most margin of the Hill sacks is far distal to the glenoid track, that means Hill sacks interval more than glenoid track, then it is a engaging Hill sacks. So Hill sacks which are engaging with reasonably good glenoid bone stock, rather there is no significant glenoid bone loss, then probably arthroscopic remplissage is a good adjunct to arthroscopic Bankart repair. So again, coming to this off-track glenoid concept. Now imagine on the left side you have a road and a tire which is working perfectly well. If you have a small pothole and if your pothole is smaller than your car tire, then it won't make any difference to your car. You would easily go through. But if the pothole is bigger, then there is a chance that you will go off track into that pothole and will feel the engagement or the subluxation. So what is my algorithm to treat shoulder instability? If you have a soft tissue Bankart lesion, I would do just plain arthroscopic Bankart repair. If I have a Bankart lesion with bone loss, and if bone loss on the glenoid side is more than 25%, then I would probably do a bony procedure like a coracoid transfer lethargic procedure. If glenoid loss is less than 25%, then I would do arthroscopic Bankart. But at the same time, if I have engaging Hill sacks in addition to Bankart's lesion, then probably I would go for remplissage if the lesion is almost 20 to 40% of the humeral circumference. If Hill sacks is too big, more than 40% of humeral circumference, then probably I may think of osteoarticular bone graft or rotational osteotomy in rare situations. So my indication for arthroscopic as an adjunct procedure to Bankart repair is shoulder instability when glenoid bone loss is not significant, but I have a moderate size engaging Hill sacks, roughly about 20 to 40% of the humeral articular circumference. So engaging Hill sacks with soft tissue Bankart with normal or minimal bone loss becomes the right indication for remplissage procedure. So how does remplissage work? So it acts as a check-in against anterior translation. It converts Hill sacks into an extra-articular structure. Hill sacks is an intra-articular lesion, so remplissage makes it extra-articular. So eventually it is not able to engage onto the anterior margin of glenoid. And to some extent, it may external rotation, preventing engagement of Hill sacks. So pre-op evaluation, classically, you would have a mid-range apprehension which will make you to think in terms of bone loss. But luckily, this bone loss is on the humeral side, not on the glenoid side. And examination under anesthesia, load and shift test, you can feel the engaging Hill sacks, typically in abduction axial rotation. So what equipment do you need to do this procedure? Standard arthroscopy setup. You need 8.5 and 5.5 arthroscopic cannulas. You need penetrating graspers, something like bird beak or at times suture hooks, and double or triple loaded suture anchors. Typically, I prefer 5.5 triple loaded anchors. So this is my classical position for doing shoulder instability work, a lateral position with longitudinal as well as vertical traction. And I'm standing on the posterior side, on the back side of the patient, and my screen is exactly in front of the patient. What are the portals? They are almost same like any standard 3-portal arthroscopic Bankart repair. The only difference is my lateral portal or anterolateral or anterosuperior portal is slightly posterior than usual because it gives me a better primary viewing of Bankart as well as Hill sacks lesion from superior side. So this will be a sort of a transcuff portal for visualization. So what is the sequence of surgery? So I would start with the diagnostic round of glenohumeral joint. I have already made up my mind to do a remplissage procedure. So I would plan my surgery accordingly. So first I would address Bankart lesion. I would mobilize. I would prepare the glenoid well. I would put the inferior labral suture and I would put a 5 o'clock anchor to begin with, but I would not tie the knots. Then I would shift my focus to the posterior side. I would do all steps of remplissage procedure except knot tying. I'm going to show you in my next video. Then I would complete my Bankart repair, put another 2 or 3 anchors, take sutures and complete and finish with the Bankart repair. And last step of my surgery would be knot tying for remplissage. I would not attempt any engagement of Hill sacks after doing Bankart repair. So this is the animation showing how I do my remplissage. I use a single 5.5 triple loaded anchor, which goes from my posterior portal through cannula, goes through the infraspinatus tendon and capsule, and gets anchored onto the bone in the floor of the Hill sacks. So I have 6 sutures. So 3 sutures are passed from inferior to superior sequence at 5 millimeter distance each, and then knots are put onto the infraspinatus blindly with portal cannula, and that's how my remplissage procedure is done completely. And now you can see post remplissage with abduction of axial rotation, there is no engagement of Hill sacks. Steps of remplissage: viewing Hill sacks lesion from anterosuperior portal, accessing Hill sacks from posterior working portal, gently abrading the Hill sacks lesion, anchor placement, suture passing, and knot tying. Very important tip is external rotation of the head, which brings Hill sacks lesion in front of your posterior portal cannula. Tip for anchor placement: typically I use a 5.5 millimeter cuff anchor, which is to be put in the inferior part of Hill sacks lesion. Put an anchor roughly at the midpoint of Hill sacks lesion and more closer to the articular surface in mediolateral plane. This avoids axial rotation stiffness and eventually will cover most of the Hill sacks lesion by insetting infraspinatus. Tips for passing sutures: you withdraw posterior cannula just outside the infraspinatus and keep it beneath the deltoid. Stay lateral to portal cannula, posterior cannula. Start from inferior to superior. If you take superior bite first, then it will obstruct your vision. And roughly 4 to 5 millimeter distance between your suture stitches. This is a nice paper by Garcia where he has talked about the safe zone technique on a cadaveric study. So if you see, if you put your sutures through this safe zone, which is roughly 3 centimeter distal and 1 centimeter lateral to the posterolateral margin of acromion, then you are safe and you are exactly through infraspinatus and going into the Hill Sachs. Coming to the surgical technique, patient is in lateral position, you do the skin marking, standard coracoid, C ligament, anterior portal, posterior portal. The only difference is my anterosuperior portal is slightly posterior, which will give me a better access to Hill Sachs. Now I am viewing left knee from posterior portal. You can see a classical Bankart lesion. Cuff is intact, and here you can see a moderate size Hill Sachs lesion, which is quite wide and moderately deep. And with abduction or external rotation, you can see it is easily getting engaged onto the anterior glenoidal margin. So now we have anterior Bankart and engaging Hill Sachs. So you create anterior portal like a standard arthroscopic Bankart. 8.5 cannula goes in. Now you create modified anterosuperior portal, which is sort of a trans cuff portal. I would put a 5.5 cannula. So this typically comes just behind the bicep tendon, long head of the bicep. Now cannulas are in place. Now I would shift my scope to anterosuperior portal. You can see there is no significant glenoid bone loss. I'm probing the glenoid from posterior portal, and anteriorly I can see a ALPSA lesion. So follow standard procedure of standard arthroscopic Bankart repair. Liberate the tissue, mobilize the IGHL, create a nice glenoid bleeding bone by gently debriding. And you can see I'm taking a 5 o'clock bite with a suture passing device, and then I would make a drill hole for my 5 o'clock anchor. Now our attention will go back towards the Hill Sachs lesion. First step is we are going to abrade the Hill Sachs lesion. Don't use burr because it may deepen your Hill Sachs. Now you adjust your portal cannula such a way that you are bang on the Hill Sachs lesion. Now here your pilot hole and tap for the 5.5 anchor goes in. And then the 5.5 anchor is inserted. I'm going to show you arthroscopic picture in few seconds, and then use a up suture passing device, something like bird beak, which is upbent, and then sequentially retrieve sutures from inferior to superior. Now we have the arthroscopic picture. So we have gently debrided. Here the pilot hole with tap comes in. This anchor comes in, 5.5 mm anchor. Now, next important tip is slowly withdraw this posterior cannula. This is a transparent cannula, so you can appreciate that you are just coming outside the infraspinatus tendon, and still you can see brown deltoid muscle. So you are exactly in the right plane. And now sequentially, you are going to pass a bird beak starting from inferior capsule and keep taking bites. Pick up one suture from each pair of the suture threads. Make sure that you don't unload the anchor by checking the right suture which needs to be pulled. And you have to repeat the same process at least for 3 times till all sutures are passed through the infraspinatus tendon and capsule, starting from inferior to superior. Now, after this stage, you will finish the Bankart repair, and then you would do a blind knot tying for these sutures using the cannula. I have checked frequently by going subacromally. They are nicely put over the infraspinatus tendon. And this is the final picture of Bankart repair. Post-op protocol, we immobilize this patient in neutral rotation for 4 weeks. We start active assisted range of movement at 4 weeks and strengthening after 6 weeks. There are different techniques described, something like double pulley technique, where instead of one 5.5 cuff anchor, you can use two 2.8 or 3.2 anchors and use sutures of both threads to create a sort of a pulley or a suture bridge to get a uniform compression of infraspinatus over the heel sacs. If you go through the literature, there are a lot of literature support which gives a very good functional outcome in terms of recurrence and less complication. Now this paper by Chunian Jiang, 49 patient, 30 months post-op follow-up, 8% of failure rate and no significant external rotation loss. This is systematic review, 26 articles, level 3, level 4. They have compared recurrence rate of remplissage, Weber's osteotomy and allograft specifically for a large humeral bone defect. And you can see the recurrence rate is 6.3. And if you look at the complication rate, the complications of bony procedures are very high, unacceptable, while complication rate was hardly 0.9 with very good confidence score at the follow-up. Again, a systematic review, 6 studies, 170 patients. Post-operative clinical outcomes were generally good to excellent. No study indicated significant loss of shoulder motion following procedure, and overall complication rate was very low. What are anatomical and functional results? This is a paper by Pascal Bulow, 42 patient Bankart with remplissage, 2-year follow-up. All patients showed healing of capsule and tendon in the heel sacs by MRI and CT orthogram. More than 70% returned to sports, and there was some external rotation restriction, but that was up to 10 degrees. And this is another paper, arthroscopic remplissage, a systematic review, 6 studies, 169 patients. Post-operative clinical outcome was good. There was no significant loss of range of motion and overall complication rate was very low. Again, this is a biomechanical paper. 8 cadaveric specimens were tested on shoulders instability simulator. Testing was performed with 25% of heel sacs defect with a intact glenoid, and after remplissage compared to the Latarjet procedure, both procedures proved effective in reducing the frequency of dislocation in 25% of heel sacs defect model. So I think the results of Bankart with remplissage can be biomechanically equivalent when compared to Latarjet. So with this, I come to an end. Thank you very much for patient listening.